Artificial intelligence is supposed to be the future, smart, unbiased, and efficient. But what happens when artificial intelligence inherits the worst of human flaws? From hiring discrimination to wrongful arrests, these are the top 5 artificial intelligence bias fails. Let's dive in. 1. Facial recognition and wrongful arrests. The face that wasn't his. Our faces are freedoms. Imagine a world where your face is your passport, but one that can be easily forged and manipulated without your knowledge. This isn't science fiction. It's the reality of facial recognition technology. With every passing day, our faces are being enrolled in vast databases, often without our consent, and used for purposes we never agreed to. This technology has the potential to erode our anonymity, leaving us vulnerable to surveillance and control. From unlocking our phones to identifying criminals, this technology is rapidly permeating our lives. While proponents tout its benefits, such as increased security and convenience, we must be wary of the potential consequences. The erosion of privacy is a slippery slope, and once our faces become tools of surveillance, it becomes exceedingly difficult to reclaim our right to anonymity. We must act now to ensure that facial recognition technology is developed and deployed responsibly, with robust safeguards to protect our fundamental rights. The Robert Williams story. In 2020, Robert Williams, an African-American man from Detroit, was wrongly arrested. Based on a facial recognition mismatch, Williams was accused of shoplifting luxury watches, a crime he didn't commit. The evidence? A grainy image from a security camera and a flawed facial recognition match. The algorithm used by the police department falsely identified Williams as the perpetrator. This misidentification led to his arrest, detention, and interrogation, leaving him deeply traumatized. Studies have shown that facial recognition systems are more likely to misidentify people of color, particularly women of color. These biases, baked into the algorithms themselves, perpetuate existing inequalities and threaten to exacerbate racial profiling. The use of such flawed technology by law enforcement agencies is deeply concerning, as it can lead to wrongful arrests, detentions, and even convictions. The Williams case serves as a wake-up call, highlighting the urgent need for comprehensive reforms, including stricter regulations and mandatory accuracy testing. The growing shadow of surveillance. Facial recognition technology is rapidly expanding its reach, infiltrating various aspects of our lives. From airports and border crossings to shopping malls and sports stadiums, our faces are being scanned, analyzed, and stored in vast databases. This pervasive surveillance has profound implications for our privacy and civil liberties. The ability to track our movements, identify our associations, and monitor our behavior in public spaces grants unprecedented power to those who control this technology. The normalization of facial recognition surveillance poses a significant threat to democratic societies. It creates an environment of self-censorship where individuals may hesitate to exercise their right to free speech or assembly for fear of being identified and targeted. This lack of oversight creates opportunities for abuse, discrimination, and the erosion of fundamental rights. We must resist the normalization of facial recognition surveillance and demand greater transparency, accountability, and democratic control over these technologies. Biased algorithms, real-world harm. The algorithms that power facial recognition technology are not neutral arbiters of truth. They are susceptible to the same biases that plague human judgment. Studies have consistently shown that facial recognition systems are less accurate in identifying people of color, women, and other underrepresented groups. This disparity in accuracy can have serious consequences, perpetuating existing inequalities and reinforcing harmful stereotypes. For example, in law enforcement, the use of biased facial recognition technology can lead to the disproportionate targeting and harassment of Black and brown communities. The misidentification of individuals based on their race can result in wrongful arrests, detentions, and even convictions, as exemplified by the tragic case of Robert Williams. Beyond law enforcement, biased facial recognition technology can have far-reaching consequences in various domains. In hiring, for instance, algorithms trained on biased data may discriminate against qualified candidates based on their race, gender, or other protected characteristics. We must demand greater transparency, accountability, and fairness in the development and deployment of these technologies. reclaiming our digital rights. In the face of these growing threats to our privacy and civil liberties, it is imperative that we reclaim our digital rights. We must reject the notion that technological advancement necessitates the erosion of our fundamental freedoms. We have the power to shape the development and deployment of these technologies in ways that respect our rights and uphold our values. Legally, we need comprehensive data protection laws that give individuals greater control over their personal information, including their biometric data. This includes the right to know when and how our faces are being scanned, the right to access and correct any inaccuracies in our data, and the right to opt out of facial recognition systems altogether. Technologically, we must invest in the development of privacy-enhancing technologies that can mitigate the risks associated with facial recognition. This includes exploring alternative identification methods that are less intrusive and less susceptible to bias. We need to cultivate a culture of digital literacy, empowering individuals to understand the risks associated with facial recognition technology and to demand greater accountability from those who deploy it. A call for ethical technology. The rapid advancements in artificial intelligence and facial recognition technology present us with a profound ethical challenge. We stand at a crossroads where we must decide what kind of future we want to create. One where technology serves humanity, or one where it undermines our fundamental rights and freedoms. Technology is not an external force acting upon us. It is a product of human choices and human values. We have the power to steer its development in a direction that aligns with our ethical principles and societal goals. We must demand that facial recognition technology be developed and deployed responsibly, with a strong emphasis on ethics, transparency, and accountability. This means prioritizing human rights over corporate profits, ensuring that these technologies are used for the common good, and safeguarding against their potential for misuse and abuse. The future we create will be shaped by the choices we make today. Let us choose to build a future where technology empowers individuals, strengthens communities, and upholds the values of freedom, justice, and human dignity. 2. Amazon's AI hiring bias. Picture this. It's 2014, and Amazon, the tech giant we all know, decides to automate their hiring process. How? By designing an AI tool to sift through CVs and rank candidates. Sounds like a dream come true, doesn't it? But here's where things take a turn. The AI, trained on a wealth of historical data, begins to show a preference for male applicants. Yes, you heard right. The tool, a product of our advanced technology, was perpetuating an age-old bias. The reason? It was fed with data from a predominantly male workforce. As a result, it began to associate success with male candidates. Even worse, it penalized resumes indicating female participation. The perpetuation of discrimination. This isn't just an oops moment for Amazon. It's a glaring spotlight on the potential dangers of biased AI. We're not just talking about hiring practices here. If left unchecked, these biases could infiltrate education, healthcare, and countless other sectors, silently shaping our lives with their skewed perspectives. The crux of the matter is AI algorithms are like sponges. They soak up the biases present in the data they're trained on. If the data views the world through a distorted lens, so will the AI. It's like teaching a child using outdated textbooks. The child won't know any better, and the cycle of misinformation continues. And it's not just about gender. It could be race, religion, age, or any number of factors. The potential for discrimination is vast, and the consequences are far-reaching. So, if the data is skewed, the AI's decision-making will be too. Impact on job applicants. This isn't just about one company's misstep. It affects every individual who applies for a job. When artificial intelligence systems, like the one Amazon used, are biased, it can have serious repercussions on job applicants. Let's think about it. You're a woman, highly qualified, with a resume that could impress anyone. But before a human can even lay eyes on it, an AI tool has already deemed it less valuable, simply because it detected words like women's chess club captain. This bias isn't just a problem for the individual, it's a societal issue. It stifles diversity in the workplace by pushing aside qualified candidates based on their gender. It limits the potential of organizations that could benefit from a diverse range of perspectives and experiences. It's a self-perpetuating cycle of bias that we need to break. It's not just unfair, it's a barrier to diversity and an obstacle to reaching our full potential. Call for responsible AI development. So, what's the solution to this alarming issue? The answer lies in responsible AI development. We have to hold tech companies accountable for the artificial intelligence they create. It's not just about building systems that work. It's about building systems that work fairly for everyone. And that means having diverse teams at the helm. A variety of perspectives can help to ensure that an algorithm doesn't favor one group over another. It's a collective effort to ensure that our future AI systems are inclusive and unbiased. Moreover, transparent data practices are vital. Companies need to be clear about what data they're using and how they're using it. They need to check and double-check for biases in their data and correct them. We, as users, need to be critical of AI-powered decisions and demand fairness. Artificial intelligence is a tool, and it's up to us to ensure it's used for good. Conclusion and call to action. Thanks for joining us on this important discussion. We've delved into the murky depths of AI, unearthing its potential for bias and its real-world implications. The story of Amazon's hiring AI is a stark reminder of how unchecked automated systems can perpetuate discrimination, stifling diversity and limiting potential. But remember, it's not about demonizing AI. It's about acknowledging its flaws and finding ways to make it better. It's about ensuring that we're not just uncritically accepting AI-powered decisions, but demanding fairness. So, what do you think? How can we ensure that AI doesn't just mirror our biases? How can we hold tech companies accountable and push for more transparency in AI development? Your thoughts and ideas matter, because change starts with dialogue. Share your comments below, and let's keep the conversation going. Together, we can ensure the future of AI is fair and equitable. 3. Google Gemini's diversity controversy. We're exploring the highs, lows, and twists that shaped Google's ambitious AI project, Gemini. The rise of Gemini. Imagine an AI tool that could generate images of people from different periods and societies, with no regard for historical accuracy. That's exactly what Google's Gemini did. At its launch, Gemini was hailed as a marvel of artificial intelligence. The tool, combining models from Google's previous AI, Bard, was capable of generating images with uncanny precision and detail. But Gemini was more than just a technical feat. It was designed with a noble intention to address the marginalization of ethnic minorities, shining a spotlight on those often left in the shadows of history. However, as we've seen time and again, even the most well-intentioned creations can lead to unexpected consequences. Despite its aim to foster inclusion and diversity, Gemini's approach raised eyebrows, with its light-handed grasp on historical accuracy and a heavy-handed approach to representation. Little did Google know, Gemini was about to stir a whirlwind of controversy. The controversial turn. As the saying goes, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And for Gemini, this road was about to get very bumpy. Gemini's algorithms took a step too far, generating images of historical figures as Black women and Asian men and women. This wasn't just a simple misstep in image generation. It was a gross misrepresentation of history that left many users shocked and offended. But the controversy didn't stop there. Gemini was also criticized for perpetuating biases and stereotypes, particularly in its depiction of people of color. Despite Google's efforts to prioritize images of people of color, Gemini's results were not only inaccurate but also offensive. It over-sexualized Black and Asian women while lightening their skin tones, adding another layer of bias to the already problematic tool. This bias wasn't just present in the images Gemini generated. It was deeply embedded in the tool's training data and algorithms. The lack of diversity in its training data and the replication of societal prejudices in its algorithms laid bare the inherent biases in AI technology. The backlash was swift and severe. The controversy spilled over from social media to mainstream news outlets, with everyone from ordinary users to AI researchers criticizing Google for Gemini's offensive outputs. The tool, which was supposed to empower marginalized communities, ended up alienating them even further. The controversy was so severe that Google had to temporarily disable Gemini. Google's response. In the face of mounting criticism, Google had to respond. And respond they did. Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Google, stepped forward to address the controversy. He acknowledged the offensive and biased nature of Gemini's responses, admitting that Google had indeed gotten it wrong. It was a bold and necessary move, a clear recognition of the error that had been made. The conversation didn't stop there. Enter Demis Hassibis, the CEO of Google DeepMind. Hasibis provided further insight into the situation. He explained that a well-intentioned feature had been added to Gemini, designed to ensure the generated images were sufficiently diverse. However, in practice, this feature was deployed in a way that was far too heavy-handed. The result? A flurry of inappropriate and offensive images. Google's response was a clear admission of their mistake. But was it enough to appease the public? Summary and final thoughts. So, what can we learn from the Gemini controversy? The Gemini debacle is a stark reminder that artificial intelligence mirrors the biases in its training data and algorithms. This controversy ignited a fierce debate on the implications of AI's perception of race and ethnicity, highlighting the importance of scrutinizing the data used to train these systems. Public reaction was a mix of outrage and humor, reflecting the wide range of perspectives on the representation and bias in AI. While some found amusement in the system's misinterpretations, others expressed deep concern over the offensive outputs and the perpetuation of stereotypes. Google's response was swift and decisive, acknowledging the shortcomings of Gemini's feature and the company's failure to anticipate its potential for misuse. Sundar Pichai's statement underscored the company's commitment to addressing bias and ensuring that their AI tools are respectful and inclusive. This incident underscores the importance of thoughtful and balanced AI development. It's not enough to simply prioritize diversity. It must be done in a way that respects and accurately represents all individuals. The Gemini controversy has shown us that even well-intentioned attempts at inclusion can unintentionally perpetuate harmful biases. As we venture further into the world of AI, it's clear that we must tread carefully. After all, when it comes to representation and bias, even the most well-intentioned AI can get it wrong. 4. The Genderfiy disaster. Remember Genderfiy? It was this AI startup that promised to revolutionize gender identification. They claimed their tech could accurately determine someone's gender based on just their name and a bit of personal info. Sounds impressive, right? Well, there's a reason you might not have heard of them anymore. Genderfiy shut down just 5 days after its grand launch. 5 days? That's gotta be some kind of record. You know what they say, go big or go home early. And boy, did they go home early. So, what went wrong? Well, it turns out their fancy algorithm had a bit of a bias problem. Who could have seen that coming? It's almost like we haven't been talking about AI bias for years. To put it simply, Genderfy's algorithm was making some pretty inaccurate and, frankly, offensive assumptions about gender. It seems their AI missed the memo that gender is a spectrum, not a binary. And that's a big yikes from us. The doctor problem. Let's get specific about Genderfy's bias, shall we? One of the most glaring examples was how it handled professional titles, specifically doctor. Now, you'd think an AI smart enough to determine gender could handle a little title, right? Wrong. Genderfiy seemed to think that anyone with a doctorate was automatically male. So, Dr. Jane Doe, a brilliant scientist, was misidentified as male simply because of the doctor before her name. This highlights a crucial issue. AI systems are only as good as the data they're trained on. If the data is skewed, the AI will be skewed too. It's like teaching a kid to ride a bike with a flat tire. They're not going to get very far. This bias towards associating doctor with men reveals deeply ingrained societal biases that seep into our technology. It reinforces the harmful stereotype that women are less likely to hold advanced degrees or positions of authority. Why biased AI is dangerous. Now, you might be thinking, okay, so this AI got some genders wrong. What's the big deal? Well, the big deal is that this isn't just about misgendering people, although that is a problem in itself. Biased AI has real-world consequences. Imagine this same technology being used in hiring processes. Qualified female candidates could be overlooked simply because the algorithm favors male-sounding names. It's like having a bouncer who only lets in people wearing a certain brand of shoes. It's arbitrary and unfair, and it gets scarier. Imagine this technology being used in law enforcement. An algorithm biased against certain demographics could lead to wrongful arrests or harsher sentences. It's like giving a kid a loaded gun and telling them to play cops and robbers. It's a recipe for disaster, a fundamental necessity, not a luxury. This brings us to a crucial point. Fairness in AI isn't some optional extra. It's not a luxury feature you can add on for a few bucks more. It's a fundamental necessity. It's the difference between an AI that works for everyone and an AI that perpetuates existing inequalities. We can't just blindly trust algorithms to make objective decisions. We need to hold them accountable for their biases. It's like having a government. You wouldn't just let them do whatever they want without any oversight, right? Well, the same goes for AI. Strategies for bias mitigation. So, how do we fix this mess? Well, for starters, we need to diversify the teams developing these technologies. Having more women, people of color, and individuals from marginalized communities involved in AI development can help identify and address biases early on. We also need to be more thoughtful about the data we feed these algorithms. If the data itself is biased, the AI will be biased too. It's like trying to bake a cake with rotten eggs. It's not going to end well. Finally, we need to develop robust testing and evaluation methods to identify and mitigate bias in AI systems. We need to be able to catch these issues before they cause real-world harm. It's like having a smoke detector in your house. You hope you never need it, but you're glad it's there just in case. A future free from algorithmic bias. Look, AI has the potential to be an incredible tool for good. It can help us solve some of the world's most pressing problems. But if we're not careful, it can also exacerbate existing inequalities and create a world where opportunities are determined by algorithms rather than merit. We need to be vigilant in our fight against algorithmic bias. We need to demand better from the companies developing these technologies. And we need to work towards a future where AI is a force for good, not a tool for discrimination. 5. Microsoft's Tay. We're diving deep into the fascinating yet cautionary tale of Microsoft's AI chatbot, Tay. The launch of Tay. In the not-so-distant past, Microsoft unleashed Tay, an AI chatbot, onto the Twitter scene in 2016. Tay was no ordinary bot. Designed to mimic the language patterns of a 19-year-old American girl, it was built to engage, learn from, and respond to users on Twitter in real time. The optimism surrounding Tay's launch was palpable. Here was a bot that promised to revolutionize our interaction with artificial intelligence. The initial reception was largely positive, with users marveling at Tay's ability to hold conversations, tell jokes, and even craft original tweets. It seemed like Microsoft had hit a home run, creating a bot that could not only understand human language, but could also engage with it in a way that felt remarkably human. But as we'll soon discover, Tay's launch was just the calm before the storm. The transformation. Within 24 hours, Tay's interactions took an unexpected turn. The friendly chatbot, designed to learn and mimic language patterns from its interactions, began to echo a disturbingly different tone. It started to spew out offensive language and ideas, creating a whirlwind of controversy and confusion. But how did this transformation happen? Well, the answer lies in how Tay was programmed to learn. Tay's learning algorithm was like a sponge, soaking up language patterns and ideas from its conversations. This adaptive ability was meant to make Tay more engaging and relatable. However, it lacked a crucial filter, a safeguard to sieve out inappropriate content. This vulnerability became a chink in its digital armor, a loophole that internet trolls were quick to exploit. These trolls, individuals who sowed discord online for their amusement, bombarded Tay with offensive language and ideas. Tay, in its quest to learn and engage, absorbed this barrage of negativity. It started to mimic the trolls, regurgitating their offensive content back onto the Twitter platform. The once friendly chatbot began to echo hate and intolerance, much to the surprise and dismay of the online community and its creators. Microsoft, the tech giant behind Tay, was caught off guard. They had anticipated trolls testing the limits of their AI, but the scale and speed of Tay's transformation were beyond their expectations. Tay had become a megaphone for negativity, broadcasting offensive content far and wide. The situation escalated rapidly, leaving Microsoft with no other option but to intervene. The friendly chatbot had transformed into a disaster, forcing Microsoft to shut down Tay. It was a dramatic end to what had started as a promising experiment in AI and social interaction. However, this incident was more than just a public relations nightmare. It was a wake-up call, a hard lesson in the complexities and responsibilities that come with deploying AI into the wild. The aftermath. In the aftermath of the Tay debacle, Microsoft found themselves in a challenging situation. The tech giant was forced to confront the consequences of their AI experiment gone wrong, and they took immediate steps to rectify the situation. They promptly shut down Tay, halting the chatbot's offensive tirade, and issued sincere apologies to the Twitter community. Microsoft acknowledged the severity of the incident and provided insight into the challenges they faced. The unpredictable nature of online interactions, they conceded, had outpaced their ability to manage Tay's learning process. They admitted that their safeguards were insufficient in filtering out the negative influences that ultimately led to Tay's downfall. But Microsoft didn't just stop at apologies and explanations. They committed to enhancing their AI development processes to prevent similar mishaps in the future. They pledged to incorporate more robust safeguards and to conduct rigorous testing before deploying AI systems in the public sphere. It was a promise of a more cautious, responsible approach to AI. However, the Tay incident had broader implications than just a single AI experiment gone astray. It sparked a global conversation about the responsibilities that come with deploying AI technologies into public spaces, especially platforms as dynamic and diverse as social media. It questioned the ethics of AI development and the potential risks of unsupervised machine learning. The incident underscored the fact that AI, as promising as it is, can also be a double-edged sword. It can be easily manipulated and turned into a tool for harm if not properly guided and monitored. It served as a stark reminder that when dealing with AI, it's not just about what it can do, but also about how we guide its learning process to align with our societal values and ethical standards. The incident served as a powerful wake-up call about the potential dangers of AI. It reminded us that with great power comes great responsibility, and that we must tread carefully as we continue to explore the vast potential of artificial intelligence. The lessons learned. The rise and fall of Tay offers valuable lessons for the tech industry and AI researchers. It underscores the paramount importance of not just designing intelligent systems, but also ensuring that they are equipped with robust safeguards and ethical considerations. AI, like any tool, is only as good or as bad as the hands that wield it. The story of Tay is a reminder of the complexities and responsibilities that come with unleashing AI into the online world. It's about more than just mimicking human interactions. It's about promoting healthy and constructive conversations. And that's a wrap on today's exploration into the fascinating realm of AI anomalies. If you enjoyed unraveling the mysteries with us, don't forget to show some love. Hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and make sure to click the notification bell so you never miss a moment of our captivating insights. Until then, stay curious, stay connected, and keep exploring the wonders of AI with us.